We're teaching kids where their food comes from right after this. That's looking great. Hi, I'm Alan Smith. Welcome to Garden to Table. You know, when I was a kid, I spent a lot of time out in the garden with my family planting. It's a great way to get kids involved in, well, learning where their food comes from and helping them live a healthier lifestyle. I want to show you some ideas that will help educate your kids. They're fun projects that they'll really enjoy, and you will too. Plus, I've got some surefire garden recipes that kids will actually eat. In the past, of course, everyone knew where their food came from because most people had gardens, and when you wanted eggs, you just went out to the chicken house and gathered those eggs. But today, well, not many people are connected to agriculture, so knowing where our food comes from becomes something that we really need to focus on and help kids understand. When it comes to plants, I have to say herbs are always a good choice for the young gardener. You see, they're easy to care for, and herbs will introduce children to fragrance, flavor, and texture. Here's a project that will get your kids off to a good start in the garden with herbs planted in brightly colored pails. Using a hammer and a nail, an adult should punch drainage holes into the bottom of the pails. Then let your child fill the pails about 2/3 full with soil. Then help them plant a single herb in each pail and fill in with soil. Be sure to water the plants well and add more soil as needed. Then place the pails in a location that will receive 6 to 8 hours of sunlight. Now here's an herb to think about. I love this little spicy glow basil. You see, it has tiny kid-sized leaves and it makes a very tasty pesto. And then of course there's curly parsley. I love its texture. It's pretty enough to use in a vase all alone or with flowers. It can be used to garnish or flavor food, and it can even freshen your breath. And then there's oregano. It's an essential herb for pizza. And what kid doesn't love pizza? And then take a look at these onion chives. Not only are they delicious in a variety of recipes, but kids will also enjoy giving them a haircut from time to time. As you can see, you can have a lot of fun with herbs, and I encourage you to give this little project a try with your children. You'll be glad you did. That's looking good there. You know, adding small fruits to your garden is a great way to get kids involved in gardening. Every kid loves strawberries, blueberries, most like blackberries and raspberries. You get the picture. They're ideal for home gardens because they don't need a lot of space and they're easier for the kids to take care of. Most small fruits have the same basic growing requirements: full sun and well-drained soil. Be sure to select varieties that are suited to your climate and are disease and pest resistant. And you don't have to have a dedicated place in your garden for fruits either. You can edge a raised bed with strawberries or plant a blueberry hedge. You can train blackberries and raspberries to grow up trellises and grapes that will grow over an arbor. Learn about the plant's characteristics and incorporate it into your garden's design, just like a shrub, annual or a perennial. Kids can plant strawberries and blueberries directly in containers like this. And when they harvest the fruit, well, they can make their own personal fruit pan pizza. It sounds pretty good, doesn't it, Will?
Yes.
It does, good. Cooking with kids is a great way for them to, well, maybe eat foods they wouldn't normally eat. You know, you can't always be with your kids, so you can't monitor what they're eating. But when at home, if you could spend some time cooking with them, hey, that's when they begin to learn where their food comes from and hopefully begin to develop some habits that are healthy and will set them on a course of a healthy lifestyle for the rest of their lives. According to the American Heart Association, 1 out of 3 kids and teens are overweight or obese. Now that's just insane. Getting your kids on a healthy track is even more important than ever. If children learn to eat healthier now, well, they're more likely to carry that lifestyle into their adult years. Cooking for kids is one thing, but a program meant to teach kids how to cook is another. It's exciting to see their love of food and creativity flourish in the kitchen. I visited a culinary program designed to help at-risk young men and women prepare for successful careers as culinary chefs.
My name is Dr. Linda Solis, and I'm the Regional Director for Job Corps Region 4 Dallas Center. These students are 16 to 24, trying to gain culinary skills to put into action when they seek professional careers.
We have 8 teams going now. They're going to start plating at 10:45, all the dishes out at 11 o'clock for the judging. They have 2 proteins. They have a salmon dish and a pork loin, tenderloin dish. They have to present 1 salad and 1 dessert.
We might make a fish stock out of the fish bones and put this in there. Put the carrots and potatoes. Onions will bring out more of the flavor.
I'm just grinding some peppers.
A lot of times, it's the first time they have an opportunity to leave their centers to show off the skills.
The students also get assessed on their knowledge base. You know, in order to be a cook, you've got to know measures, you have to know ingredients, you have to be able to put these things together.
Well, yesterday we had 3 hours to prep all the food that we're gonna make.
This is a rondelette, a round cut, okay?
Throw an apple into the one, okay? To make up for the fruit.
If somebody felt short, we was able to pick it up and help them out. It's like, hey man, don't worry about it. Very good at encouraging each other, very good.
Start getting your food on your plates. We have 10 minutes of judging, so start getting your product on your plates.
When there's 5 minutes left, everything just started flying onto the plates.
Get rid of that, get rid of all the utensils that you see just randomly sitting. If it's full of something, leave it.
1 minute, guys. We've got 1 minute. 1 minute instructor.
An important part of cooking for kids is, of course, something to wash the food down with. A nice tall glass of milk has benefits that will last a lifetime. And the program at Deanna Rose Children's Farmstead is teaching kids just where that milk comes from.
My name is Stephanie Jones, and we're at Deanna Rose Children's Farmstead in Overland Park, Kansas. Deanna Rose Children's Farmstead originally started as the Farmstead in 1978. It was renamed to Deanna Rose Children's Farmstead in 1985 in dedication to an Overland Park police officer who was killed in the line of duty. The whole original idea of the farmstead was to teach children about farm life, to get them exposure to farm animals. We have a pygmy goat bottle feeding pen. Children can go in and feed the pygmy goats with baby bottles. And then we also have chickens that they can feed. And also they get to experience a dairy goat being milked every day.
I work here at Deanna Rose Children's Farmstead. We're in the dairy barn where I do milkings every day at 9:30 and 4:30. Good morning, guys. We're glad you're here. This is Heidi. She is a brown Swiss. She's one of our 2 milking cows that we have here at Deanna Rose. The amount that a cow gives varies greatly depending on their breed and what they are fed every day. Holsteins are known for their big production in the dairy industry. They give the most milk, and they can milk between 80 and 100 pounds every day. Cows need a lot of roughage and dry matter. They eat a lot of hay, and then the feed that they get is specific to what they need to get out of the cows. So our cows are not high milkers. We don't need a ton of milk every day. So we're just feeding a ration of sweet feed with some alfalfa pellets. It's just 4 suction cups that have air in them. It doesn't hurt her at all. Milk over here, do you guys think it's cold, like in the grocery store? No, it's not cold. You're right, it is actually 101 degrees. I really hope that the kids who come into the dairy barn learn to appreciate the large animals that we have here and what they do for society in general. I'm really big in ag education, and so I hope these kids go away thinking, oh, we milked a cow today, that was awesome. I want to go have dairy products now because I know where it comes from and I know why it's so good for me.
Food allergies are something you need to be aware of when cooking for kids, or anyone for that matter. But nowadays there are a lot of options, like using soy milk for those who are lactose intolerant. Now here's a recipe combining lactose-free soy milk with a nutrient-rich vegetable kids will definitely love. You know, in this part of the world, in the South, we love our sweet potatoes and eat them in lots of different ways. Now, what I'm preparing is one of my favorite desserts. It's sweet potato pie. And this is a slightly different recipe because what I like to use soy milk. And the reason I like to use soy milk is that it's a little lower on the calories, and if you've got someone in the family who has milk issues, milk allergies, then soy is a great alternative. You know, it's interesting, soy is often referred to as the miracle bean because so many products, if you look in the grocery store, you'll find actually have soybeans in them. So it's really a very nutritious and high protein bean. So we're going to use that in this recipe. It's basically following a pumpkin pie recipe. And what I've done here is I've got about 1.75 cups of sweet potatoes, and you can mash these sweet potatoes by either baking them and taking the skins off, or you can peel them and boil them. The point is you just want to cook them until they're soft, get the skins off of them. And 1.75 cups is about, medium to large size sweet potato and a small one. That's what it takes for this pie. So I'm going to start with the dry ingredients first. What I've got here is 3/4 cup of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, and 1/4 teaspoon of cloves ground. I'm just going to mix all those together. Okay, with that done, I'm going to go ahead and get my eggs ready. I'm using 2 large eggs, and these are from our girls here on the farm. And I'm going to take a whisk here and mix these eggs up. And now with these eggs all whisked together, I'm going to combine the wet ingredients to the dry. So in go the eggs, sweet potatoes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take these ingredients, these moist ingredients, and blend them before I begin adding 12 ounces of soy milk. All right, so I'll take the soy milk. Okay, now I'm going to take the ingredients here and pour them into the pie shell. And I've preheated the oven, and this is important to remember. I preheated the oven to 450, and I'm only going to keep this pie in the oven for 15 minutes at 450, and I'm going to turn the temperature down to 350, and I'm going to let it bake for another 30 minutes, maybe 40. And what you want to do is you want to bake it until you put a knife in the center and it comes out clean. That means it's done. This smells so good. You got to give it a try. Excellent. A great source of protein for kids is, of course, eggs. And a few chickens in your backyard would not only show kids where eggs come from, but also will teach them how to care for an animal. Everybody asks me which breed of chicken is going to produce the most eggs. Well, unequivocally it would be a Leghorn. This is a white Leghorn. They're a Mediterranean breed. They're light and they're big on egg production. And they produce big eggs. Just look at the size of that egg. These girls will really blow them out. I'm talking they'll lay up to 360 eggs a year. That's almost an egg a day. It's unheard of. Even though Leghorns are the bird that they tend to use in commercial poultry operations for egg production, they're a very old breed. Right? Buongiorno, buongiorno. And they also inspired a cartoon character. You've heard of Foghorn Leghorn? Well, this is what inspired Foghorn Leghorn. Right, girl? I say, right, girl? Right? Uh-huh. I got mine from a friend who's a poultry scientist, and what we're doing here at the farm is we're actually involved in a breeding program to help increase the vigor of a very old breed that's quite threatened, the silver gray Dorking. You see, the Dorkings were brought into England around 53 BC by Caesar's conquering armies, so they are Italian by descent. What has happened with the Dorkings is there's so few of them, they've been inbred, and their egg production is way down, the vitality of the breed is way down, and the egg size is way down. For instance, see this egg here? That's a Dorking egg. Dorkings are actually larger than Leghorns, but look at the size of the Dorking egg next to the Leghorn egg. What we're doing here is crossing Dorkings with Leghorns. What I'm trying to do is instill some of the vitality, the egg production that you find in these gals into our Dorkings. It's going to take about 4 or 5 generations. We're doing the first cross with a Dorking rooster and white Leghorn hens, which give us a half and half hybrid. Then what we'll do is continue to take the half Dorking, half Leghorn crosses and put Dorkings on them and continue to put Dorkings on them until we work all of the Leghorn qualities out except for the egg production, which is what we're really looking for here. Over here you can see the similarities. There are some Dorking hens and you can see the Leghorns. They have a single floppy comb. The body shape is similar. The Dorking is a deeper bodied bird. Of course the color is different, but Leghorns come in lots of other different colors. So if you're thinking about keeping a home breed, you might think about some of these Leghorns if you're really focused on egg production. If you're looking for something that will convert feed to eggs, these girls are egg-laying machines. A good healthy breakfast is a surefire way to boost brain power, which kids need to really do well in school. So here's a healthy recipe that's disguised as something fun to eat. You know, sometimes you have to be downright sneaky to get kids to eat in a healthy way. This is a breakfast burrito panini. And what you start with is some whole wheat tortillas like this. What I do is just take some spinach. What I have is a half a cup of spinach here. I'm going to use about half of it. And then I have some black bean corn salsa, 1/3 of a cup of it. And then what I have is cheese. What kid doesn't love cheese? I have 1/4 of a cup, and I'm going to use half of that. Sprinkle that in here. And then, of course, the eggs themselves. And what I've done is I've used 1 hard-boiled egg. Just going to lay that all along in here like this. And then you can just salt and pepper to taste. A little pepper, a little bit of salt here, like that. Then all you do is you fold the tortilla up like this. Over. And over here we have a non-stick skillet. So I'm going to place the panini, if you will, here, and I'm just going to hold it down with a spatula, and it'll begin to cook on the other side, and that cheese will melt, and all of that will all begin to bind together. And now I'll just flip it over. And after just a minute and a half or so on this side, they're ready. And it's sneaky healthy. Give it a try. You'll enjoy them, and the kids will too. To stay with the teaching theme, Chef Faith Anaya of Kids Cook Arkansas is in the kitchen with a couple of kids showing them how to prepare a delicious recipe using fresh blueberries.
Today we're going to do a really easy, fresh, and versatile tart.
Hey, that's looking great. Here's some cabbage to plant. Well, that's all the time we have for today's show. I hope you've been inspired to get kids involved in gardening and learning to live a healthier lifestyle. I'll leave you with a quote from John F. Kennedy. Children are the world's most valuable resource and its best hope for the future. Until next time, good eating and good health.
We need that for a beauty shot.
Sorry. Really good.
All day long. It's gonna be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You wanna eat another one? Just keep eating them.
Oh, Miss Nikki, you just keep making for everybody.
Okay, whole crew, everybody's getting
really good.
eggs, cookies, whatever.
Now you need to put some soil up around that one, Will. Or I'll call you Mr. Wilson. How's that? Mr. Wilson, okay, yeah. There, oh, where'd your hand go? Did you chop it off? Oh, there it is, okay. So look, see this little edge? Why don't you take and just peel that little edge off, okay? All right? You don't have to have a dedicated area in your garden for fruits either, okay? Ready? Okay. How's the hair, all right?